Natasha Skotnicki, Program Manager of Circular Economy at Cisco, Jennifer Keeson, U.S. Sustainability Manager at IKEA, Una Murphy, Director of Design Innovation at Levi's, and Ceres' own Laura Lasciuto will examine the importance of goal setting and stakeholder buy-in for integrating circular economy principles at the corporate level. They'll help us reimagine a path to zero waste, in which waste is designed out of products from the start, and help us explore the role of incentivization to change consumer behavior and drive the transition to a circular economy. Thanks, and over to you all.
Well, thanks, Dawn, for that introduction. I'm Laura Lasciuto. I'm a manager on the company network team here at Ceres. And I just want to take a moment to add a little more context to what Dawn said. So historically, the global economy has been based on a linear model, one in which resources are extracted from the earth and used to make products, and then discarded when those products are no longer wanted. And with 110 million metric tons of emissions from waste in the US in 2019 alone, it's clear that that model is no longer serving us. And over the past decade, companies have increasingly recognized the environmental, social, and economic consequences of it. At first, they moved to reduce the amount of waste they sent to landfill. And now the level of ambition has risen, and companies are beginning to think not just about reducing waste to landfill, but about creating a circular economy, an economic model in which waste is designed out of products from the start and resources are kept in use in perpetuity. Today, we're going to explore how companies from three very different sectors are realizing the benefits of designing circular economy principles into their business strategies, how they're working to move the market towards circularity, and what's needed to get us there. Now I'll hand it over to Natasha for our discussion.
Hi, thanks, Laura. It's so great to be here with you all. I'm Natasha Skotnicki, a program manager on Cisco's circular economy team. And I want to tell you today about our 5-pillar strategy, which really defines how we approach circularity at Cisco. We have 5 pillars starting with circular operations. So we're focused on driving circularity in our own operations, but also our extended operations with suppliers and manufacturers. In terms of design, we have a circular design pillar that's really thinking about the environmental footprint and reuse from the beginning, from right at the design, the product design and packaging design phase. Our 3rd pillar is circular consumption. So how can we manage our equipment for multiple life cycles? How can we deploy new business models like subscription model or as a service to facilitate this approach? And this means ensuring we can have product take back with the end of use from our customers. And then circular solutions is our 4th pillar. So thinking about what we're doing with our own technologies, how we're using collaboration, IoT, AI to enable a circular economy and help give the circular advantage for our own customers. And then the last pillar, ecosystem leadership, is what I lead. And that's really thinking about the systemic barriers. Where can we advance a circular economy in collaboration with others, either through industry collaboration, multi-sector and multi-stakeholder collaboration, and also really thinking about where we can't do it as one person alone or one company alone, where we need to have collaboration to really advance and make the progress we need to realize the circular economy. So those 5 pillars all come together to really have a holistic approach and how we can advance our own goals and as well as the wider ecosystem. We have public-facing goals that also support this 5-pillar strategy. 2 of our goals, I won't go into a lot of detail, but I wanted to at least give you a sense of 2. One is around, for our circular design, how we can have 100% of new Cisco products that will incorporate our design principles. We have 5 principles related to design. And the second goal is really about our supply chain and our scope 3 emissions. So reducing absolute emissions by 30% by 2030. This is critical because our greenhouse gas emissions from our supply chain are 5 times that of our operations. So all of these goals and our strategy are key to how we can advance a circular economy and really support the key elements that we know, which is really about designing out waste and pollution. How can we regenerate for next generations? And then also just having longer use for products and materials. So I look forward to extending the conversation with our 2 other panelists.
Hi, I'm Jen Keeson, Sustainability Manager for IKEA US. At IKEA, our vision is to create a better everyday life for the many people. And we believe a better life is a healthier and more sustainable one. By transforming into a circular business, we can meet those needs of our customers today without compromising the needs of future generations. Transforming into a circular business consists of adapting our existing take, make, waste linear model to instead enable the prolongation of product and material life. The processes enabling this can be described as the 4 loops of reuse, refurbishment, remanufacturing, and recycling. For IKEA, the starting point is always our customers' needs and wants. Through customer-centric, convenient solutions for repair, updating, and passing on of products, we aim to keep the product in use for as long as possible. It's only when products can no longer be repaired close to the customer that they would move into refurbishment and remanufacturing loops. And then recycling is always the last resort. Our ambition is to be 100% circular by 2030, but we don't see an end to this journey once we reach our ambitions. Sustainability is more than a trend for IKEA. It's at the core of our business. Every year, IKEA products and services are part of hundreds of millions of homes. As a partner in people's lives, we want to help ease worries and meet aspirations for a better home, a better life, and a better future for the planet that we share. We will continue to challenge ourselves to make sustainable living more simple, accessible, and affordable for as many people as possible. Becoming circular doesn't start or stop just with our products. It's the many people living more sustainable lives at home and at work. This means always learning and evolving so we can continue to inspire and enable generation after generation to live more sustainably. The planet isn't just a place, it's our home, our shared home, and we want to make it better together.
Hello, my name is Una Murphy. I'm a Director of Design Innovation at Levi Strauss & Company. I'd like to talk today about our efforts to design and produce more circular garments across our operations. I'll be showing a couple of slides that illustrate the initiatives we're moving forward with. Since our company was founded in 1853, we've made products that are built to last. We design and manufacture our products with quality and durability in mind. We see this as the first step to creating a more sustainable future. In a truly closed-loop clothing system, our raw materials could come from our consumers' closets, and the technology to turn old garments into new ones would be widely available. That's what we're driving towards step by step, focusing on 3 main pillars: product reinvention, consumer education, and collaboration on new technologies and systems. As a designer, I try to design for physical and emotional durability, seeking to maximize the resources already embedded in that object: the water, the energy, the labor. Meanwhile, we're working across our company to scale up other initiatives that extend the life cycle of our products. For example, our Levi's Tailor Shop, where consumers can take garments to have them repaired or repurposed. We're building business models that can do the same thing and reduce the need for our use of new stores of natural resources. The images you see now are from our recently launched Levi's Secondhand campaign, which helps create another market for buying and selling what we call pre-loved Levi's. This goes hand in hand with our Levi's Authorized Vintage line, another way we are working to give our garments a second, third, or even a 4th life. My primary role as part of the design team is one that works on circular design strategies for the brand. Our Levi's Well Thread line has been around for several years, and it represents a fundamental reinvention of the design process. We incorporate sustainability into every aspect of garment design and development. One of our fundamental and foundational design pillars is to follow a material strategy that maximizes the garment's ability to be recycled. We recalibrate every input into the garment so that the end product can be recycled into new materials and new garments when no longer wearable. We explicitly manufacture with a future state of circularity in mind, and we do research through practice to understand and solve some of the complex industrial challenges around circularity. The next slide shows some of the garments we're working on. Every garment in the Well Thread collection is designed to be recycled. These images represent innovative fiber and dye alternatives designed to reduce the impact and work in future circular clothing recycling systems. Innovative inputs like cottonized hemp use less water and result in cleaner, healthier soils. And our partnership with Renewacell allows us to make new jeans from old jeans. These jeans represent investment in innovation and partnerships that can help transform old clothing into new materials. They are our most advanced circular expression, garments that contain both advanced recycled materials and are designed to be recycled. We know that the current consumption paradigm is too resource intensive, so we're building our skills to utilize existing resources. We know our industry has a long way to go, but we have to stay ambitious and committed. Collectively, we have to find ways to enable a more circular economy, and we plan to stay the course to get this work done. Thank you.
Great. Jen and Una, it's great to be here with you today. I think I'm going to kick off our conversation. We've all shared our own approach at our individual organizations in terms of driving circularity. And I think it would be fun to talk about how we're advancing circularity at the system level. We know no one company can get us to the circular economy, that we've got to work in collaboration and really think about the system level change. So I'd love to hear how you're each spurring innovation at the broader ecosystem.
Yeah, I can jump in. So for us, it really is about enabling and inspiring the many. And so that is truly looking at our entire value chain, so internally and externally. And we know as being a global company that we have the opportunity and the responsibility to make large scale impact. So we want to use our size as a benefit. So with that, we have our supplier code of conduct, for example, which puts kind of our own expectations or the same expectations we put on ourselves, on our suppliers and our sub-suppliers. We are ensuring that together with our supplier base, we're sourcing responsible materials that are either recyclable or recycled or renewable. And then we're also advocating. So not just looking again within our own supply chain, but advocating for sustainable mobility to ensure that our customers and coworkers can get to our stores and shop in a more sustainable way. And we're as well as investing in innovation. So we've invested in companies across the globe, and we've announced that globally, we're going to invest 600 million euros in sustainable companies. And some of that has then also resulted in some of our best partners like Opturo, for example, who supports us in our reverse logistics, looking at opportunities as opposed to pain points when it comes to reverse logistics or returns, and really supporting us in diverting more waste from landfill. So we've looked at all areas of our value chain, and then where we can't have influence, trying to find the right partners who do have influence to make a larger change.
From our perspective, we focus on our design practice that allows us to make truly circular products. Through that practice, we document and demonstrate the resource savings, and it really gives us a framework to work through the industrial challenges. And it also gives us an ecosystem where we can support the new technologies coming online that really will enable the circular economy. These proof points have really given us the ability to engage stakeholders both internally and externally to help move our circular initiatives forward. Currently, we have a marketing campaign that's all about buying less and buying better. And what we're really trying to do here is to help people understand that there's inherent value in all the products that have already been created, and we want those products to continue to exist in a circular economy.
Great. Yeah, and just building on that a bit, when I know Well Thread has been around for 5 or 6 years. Have you seen change in consumer awareness and really seeing evidence of the impact of that program?
Absolutely. I think we've seen it not only from a consumer lens, but also an internal lens. When we started this work several years ago, it was really difficult to get our sales and marketing teams behind it. And part of it was that the concept, they didn't really understand the concept. And so we didn't have a demand signal to really pull that innovation through. And I would say that's completely changed today. We not only do we have a consumer demand signal that says that they are looking for and invested in sustainability, we also have tremendous stakeholder engagement where people within the company are excited and really motivated to make change. So several years ago, when it was a concept that was barely understood, I would say now it's we see a lot of excitement and we see a lot of demand signal for that innovation, which is it's inspiring and it's helping us to move forward.
Absolutely. Oh, great. It's interesting to hear about your $600 million fund at IKEA, Jen, because we just started partnering with Banca Intesa San Paolo around a 5 billion euro fund that they launched. So really, they're providing financing to companies that are looking to transition to circular models, and then Cisco can provide enabling technologies. So I think there's so many examples of how there's different ways to really spark and catalyze some of the innovation, and also filling some of the challenge areas, hopefully with some new solutions. So that's one area I thought we could dig in a bit. It's always helpful to talk about challenges and how we can collectively support each other and other stakeholders out there in terms of finding solutions. Jen, you mentioned really reverse logistics, and that's one area that comes to mind when I think about our challenges. From where I sit in supply chain, we have obviously the traditional forward motion supply chain going from production to customers, but now we have multiple reverse supply chains. So we have where we take product back at the end of use from customers, we have taking product back from lease and repair, and then we now have remanufactured products through our refresh line going out. So there's multiple supply chains that we're trying to manage, and how you really bring that together for circular is an area where we're spending time, and I think there's a lot of opportunity, but a lot of work to be done as well. So would love to just hear, kind of build on that theme as other challenges you're both struggling with, or perhaps making progress towards as well.
Absolutely. To build off that, and the reverse logistics, but the supply chain in general, or our last mile deliveries, for example, we're trying to identify opportunities and invest in creating a more, again, sustainable supply chain through, like, for example, our last mile deliveries, we want by 2025 are hoping that they're all with EV or zero emission. And then when you also incorporate a reverse logistics into that, okay, how are we also securing that? And then how is it the most efficient for ourselves and our customers, right? And maybe in some cases, it's more focusing on the communication piece too. So ensuring that if our customer receives a product that either they no longer want or they need to return, what is the most responsible decision or responsible choice for them? Is it for it to be physically returned and then taking into consideration the greenhouse gas emissions of that? Or is it that we support them in identifying a responsible solution that's local to them, and how to communicate to them, oh, you could donate this here, or you could incorporate it into the secondhand market or something like that. So we're definitely evaluating and identifying opportunities when it comes to continuing that and prolonging the product life. How do we best support our customers and best support the supply chain in doing that responsibly? But then I think another big challenge for us is a lot of our goals and our ambitions are they're consistent across the globe, right? So we have our strategy that we're implementing in multiple different countries. And then if we look at the US specifically, we are existing in over 20 states across the country, and every state and potentially city has varying regulations that we need to comply with to be able to provide circular products, for example. And the regulations can vary between children's products and textiles and kitchen or food grade products, right? And so I think that's a big challenge for us as well, is being able to take these large scale, high impact initiatives that we have, and how do we really bring them to all of the cities and states that we're in. And so in some cases, it does feel like we have to walk before we can run when it comes to actually rolling out or implementing a lot of the initiatives that we've identified to become more of a circular business. So a lot to be done.
I think we probably all share that sentiment.
Yes.
Una, yeah, like I know there's a lot on the design front. It's critical to start with design in terms of us really successfully advancing circular models. Can you talk about some other specific challenges you're working on?
Sure. It's really interesting to hear Jen's points. I echo a lot of them. There's really challenges at every stage. It requires recalibration and systems change across the entire value chain. For us, it does begin with product. I'm a designer, and that's the perspective that I really come at it. And it requires a fundamental redesign of the product. Circularity requires a fundamental shift in how we design and manufacture things. And Natasha, I know you speak from a supply chain perspective, and this really does upend the supply chain. It represents a fundamental shift in how we manufacture things, where the inputs come from, how they move through the supply chain, and then really trying to bring in the scope of how will they come back into the supply chain in many years to come, which is very, it's a new way of thinking and making and designing. So it really does provide challenges for our supply chain. For us, it's been interesting to watch the evolution of that demand signal come through, and asking people within our organization to stretch to understand goals that they don't yet know to be important. And really for us, we experienced that there's still a lot of time and money and investment and systems that really need to get put together. The shift to the circular economy isn't an easy one, but slowly, step by step, I think we'll get there. And it's exciting to hear all the work being done.
That's great. Yeah, I think you've mentioned sales engagement as a key piece, sales and customer engagement. I'd be curious too of how you educate other designers you work with, because I think that's, there's some folks that obviously have been doing this for years, and I know you have your design principles, and so there's some systems in place, but I think also just how do you get that across your entire design community would be interesting to hear quickly.
I think we really use WellThread as a laboratory for progress. We try to do research through practice, and then we document how we did things, and we share that across with our broader design organization. And it's really, it's great to have that opportunity to pull the work through the supply chain, because when we're doing it within an industrial context, it really is, it gives us deep learnings within our supply chain, and it activates every piece of the supply chain and the value chain. So it has given us the ability to broadly share the initiatives and how we do it and how we've done the fundamental redesign. And then we build up within our broader assortment the skills, the design skills to do it, and then we can start to recalibrate our products.
Okay, that's great. I'm cognizant of time. We have a bit left, so I'd just like to do a rapid fire. What each of us can see as the most critical thing in terms of 2021. What is going to really help us be the key lever to advance a circular economy?
For us at IKEA, it's really looking internally and engaging with all of our coworkers and driving change from the inside out, which we believe will then have a ripple effect in terms of being able to educate our customers and really start to support and generate that demand that Una has talked about quite a bit as well. So for us, it's looking internally. That's our biggest action.
Okay, Una, and then I'll wrap.
From a clothing systems perspective, it would be incredible. We need to really start collecting textiles just like we do paper and glass. So for me, it would be building and understanding the infrastructure and putting it all together so we can collect textiles. Currently, less than 1% are recycled. So if we can collect, we can begin to aggregate and really start to pull those materials through the circular economy.
Excellent. So I would echo all of those. I certainly I think that how we can extend the life of products is critical. We're spending a lot of time collaborating at the industry level and also multi-stakeholder collaborations in terms of getting at some key barriers around increasing product take back, thinking about policy out there in terms of the Basel Convention, how waste is currently classified. There's a lot of system barriers that we need to work collectively on. And then I would just highlight the role of public policy broadly. So we have in the EU, the Circular Economy Action Plan as part of the Green Deal. And in the US with the new Biden administration, I think there is a sea change in terms of sustainability interest in being high on the agenda for policymakers. So I look forward to that, unleashing some key opportunities for all of us as well. I think that we're probably at time. So I just want to say, Jen and Una, it's been great to talk to you today. I think we share so many key themes, no matter what sector we're in. We have a lot to tackle, and it's a very exciting time to think about the real transition to the circular economy.
Thanks so much to our speakers for that really engaging discussion. Unfortunately, we're out of time for today, but I think we've covered a lot of ground in a short period of time. We've learned about how Cisco, IKEA, and Levi's envision circularity, how they're working to change the market, how they're engaging their value chain, and what we need to do to make 2021 a groundbreaking year for circularity. I want to thank Natasha, Jen, and Una for joining us today to share their perspectives and give us some insight into so many different aspects of circularity. And thank you to everyone who listened in.